Today, we'll cover a powerful topic that is sparking conversation all over the grid. I'm talking about generators.
Anywhere you wanna go.
I had a whole other video I was planning to shoot today, and it was going to be great. I had only one requirement, and that is that it not rain. But it always rains, so yeah, it's raining. When I was in film production, when we would make the schedule for the shoot, you'd put a certain number of interior scenes on the list of cover sets, so that if it rained on a day that you were doing like a big exterior scene, you could substitute it. Let's say you're shooting a car chase, okay? And you already shot the part that comes before the car chase and the part that comes after the car chase, and it was bright sun when you shot them. You can't shoot the car chase in the rain because why would it be raining just on the car chase? You go onto that list and take a scene out of there and shoot that instead. So today, you are getting a cover video. That has nothing to do with generators, but I just thought you might find it interesting. Anyway, back to the generator.
Show you my world.
So you're looking to buy a generator for your Skoolie or your van or your truck or your RV. If you're not looking to buy one, then either you better already have one or you better start thinking about buying one because you need one. Trust me. Maybe you're thinking, okay, but I have solar panels. What do I need a generator for? Well, the sun doesn't always shine, my child. Today is evidence of that for sure. Maybe you're saying, oh, I don't need a generator. I use a battery isolator for my power. Yeah, well, you know you have to keep moving to make power with that thing, right? Someday you might want to stop. Probably want to have another way to get some power going. Just get yourself a generator. Don't argue about it, okay? Now we got to talk about what generator you're going to buy. Two options, conventional generators and inverter generators. So which one do you want? What's the difference between the conventional generator and the inverter generator? Before I talk about the difference, I want to ask you two questions. Number one, do you like people? And number two, do you like electronics? Computers, TVs, whatever. Think about those two things while we look at the difference between the two. One obvious difference is a conventional generator puts out a lot more power. You can get one that's like 15,000 watts. That's really not unusual to find. 10,000, 15,000 watts. An inverter generator, you're going to be pushing the envelope of what they typically can deliver if you're looking for one that's got 4,000 watts peak. You can find a bigger inverter generator, but you're probably not going to want it because it's going to cost you thousands and it's going to be a lot bigger. The ones that most people use fall in the category of what they describe as recreational ones, and I've never seen one bigger than about 4,000 watts. Most of the ones you come across are 2,000 watts peak, 3,000 watts peak. Mine is 2,000 watts peak and 1,600 watts running. So, okay, right off the bat, it sounds like, well, I want a conventional one, right? Because it's got so much more power. I can run a lot more stuff off that. Okay, fair enough. Well, not so fast. There's other things to look at. Let's look at the quality of the energy produced by these two. That is measured in something called total harmonic distortion. And what is that? Well, the easiest way to visualize it is to imagine the same note played by two different musicians. Let's say James Galway, the flutist, and Ace Frehley, the guitar player. Now, they're going to play the exact same note. Is it going to sound the same? No. Which one do you think would have more distortion? Ace, right? Because that's part of the deal with electric guitar. It's going to have distortion. Okay, Ace Frehley is the conventional generator. James Galway is the inverter generator. Electricity is subject to distortion the same way that sound is. And in the same way that your hearing is eventually going to degrade if you're subject to distortion repeatedly over and over, sensitive electronics are also going to degrade when they're subject to distortion. If you're running a heater, a refrigerator, lights, some power tools, then a conventional generator is going to work fine for you. But if you're ever going to plug in a computer, a cell phone charger, a television set, you're going to want an inverter generator because you want the lowest possible amount of distortion, and that's what you get from the inverter generator. Remember, though, that not all inverter generators are created equal, just the same as not all inverters are created equal. You want to make sure you get one that's pure sine. You'll come across ones every now and then, they're like modified sine. Yeah, don't mess with that. Pure sine is what you want. So let's go back to the two questions I asked you. Okay, I think you can see now why I asked you if you like electronics, but why did I ask you if you like people? Well, if you are the guy who's using the conventional generator with your rig, ain't nobody gonna camp next to you, because those things are crazy loud. The choice of a generator is really gonna depend what you plan on doing with it. If you're gonna use it as your primary power source, of course you want the highest wattage you can get. Obviously, you could get higher if you went with a conventional generator, but I'm assuming we're sticking with the inverter generators, and the highest you're going to get is probably like 3,500 to 4,000. Now, if you need more power than that, you could get two and daisy chain them together, and not all brands will work that way, but a lot of them will. The one I have does. It's an Energizer, and you can attach as many together as you want, basically, to make more power. The problem, though, is that even if it's a quiet generator, and a quiet generator is like 60 decibels, you're going to have two of them running or three of them running at once. Yeah, that's going to be loud. So let's say you're going to use yours as a backup. What's your backup plan? Like, what do you most need to back up? Because that's the next thing that's going to determine what size you need. I have a 2,000 watt generator. I don't use a ton of electricity. My biggest concern really is being able to start the bus in any kind of adverse weather conditions, which is why I have a block heater. Every night in the wintertime, I plug my block heater in, and that keeps the glow plugs warm enough to start up when I go to start it. I can plug my block heater in for about an hour before I go to start up, and that should do the trick. And I can also plug my battery charger in. There are two batteries in this bus, and both of them are needed to start the bus. Believe me, it takes a lot of juice to get this thing rolling. And then there's my diesel heater, which also uses electricity. The diesel fuels the heat part, but the actual motor in it is powered electrically. And right now, it's wired into my running battery, which I would like to change. Eventually, I will change. But let's say I had to run the heater, the block heater, and the battery saver all off of the generator at the same time. I wouldn't say that 1,600 watts is going to do it, because the block heater alone is 1,000 watts. But what I can do is run those things in a cycle. You know, run one thing, then the next, then the next, then the next. Generally, a lot of people would say that you should get a generator that's capable of running on the same fuel that your vehicle runs on. And I think that's great advice. I have a diesel truck and I have a gasoline generator. It would be better to have a diesel generator, because then I'd have a ready supply of fuel in case I got really in a jam. But when you hear how much I paid for it, you'll understand. I got this generator on eBay for $299, brand new. So that price kind of trumped a lot of things. It's an Energizer brand, which is not one of the big names of generators, but it's a highly rated generator. I checked it out beforehand, and it's also supposed to be really quiet. Now, there's no such thing as quiet, okay? They're all really loud, but I think it's quieter than most. The ratings were good and the price was great. Okay, let's recap what you need to be thinking about when you buy your generator. First of all, what kind are you going to buy? And that's definitely something you got to decide when you think about what items you're going to power with it and where you're going to use it. Next question, what size do you need? And that's going to be defined by how you're planning to use it. Is this going to be your primary source of power? Is it going to be a backup? Another question to think about that we didn't really talk about is, what size do you want it to be? You know, do you need a lightweight one like I do because I'm a lightweight? Mine is small and light. It weighs 44 pounds and it's pretty small. One of the smallest ones I found. So that's perfect for me because it's just me. Other things to think about, sound. Less than 60 dBs is really what you want to look for. Again, you might sacrifice in one area to gain something in another, but you're going to be doing it with your eyes open anyway. Fuel type. What fuel type does it use? Does it use the same fuel as your vehicle? That's ideal. If it doesn't, what's your plan for carrying extra fuel? And price. The last thing to think about is price. I had great luck on eBay. If the link is still there or there's something similar for sale on eBay, I'll post the link in the comments because, you know, everybody deserves a good generator. Okay, so that's generators. Who knew how easy that would be? I am so glad you're here, and I hope we're going to see you at the live stream. That's my favorite time of the week, is Tuesday nights, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. We just get together and chit-chat about Skoolies and RVs and motorcycles and life, you know? So please come and join us. You don't have to talk. You can just listen. Or you can talk. We like it when you talk. Catch you then.
Down in